Hey, Charlie here from Guitar Mastering Method. Now, your number one guitar progress killer is what we call the Seesaw, okay? So, why is it called the Seesaw? Okay, now it's because what's likely happening is that your fretting hand has all of the skills that it needs, and your picking hand, again, has all the skills that it needs, but they're just not equal, okay? So, they're not working together. So, what we need to do is just get things equal and get them talking to each other. So how do we do that? Okay, well, what we need to do is actually just walk through a very simple exercise. And this is what it looks like. Okay, and we're just going to continue that all the way up the fretboard. So this is called the chromatic scale, okay? So what we're doing here is just putting our first finger here on the first fret of the low E string. We're going to be using alternate picking on this side, so we're going to be going down, up, down, up. Very important that we're doing that. Very important that we're not going down, 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 down. Okay, so down, and then on the second time, we're going to be going up, down, up. And you see with my left hand here, my fretting hand, starting with my first finger here on the first fret, moving to the middle finger here on the second fret, third finger here on the third fret, and then pinky on the fourth fret. Now, it's very important that you're using this one finger per fret rule. Now, you might currently not be able to put all four fingers on all four frets at the exact same time, and that's absolutely fine. If you're having trouble stretching that far, all you're going to do is just walk across like this, okay? Now also make sure your thumb is in the correct position, because if your thumb is, for instance, over here, then your hand's going to have a hard time stretching, okay? But if you have your thumb here, see instantly my hand can stretch out a lot further than when it's here, okay? So make sure your thumb is in the back of the guitar neck. So below this video, you have your PDF reference sheet that has the tablature for this exercise. So make sure you go download that. Also walk you through a couple of other things. So first finger here on the first fret with the downstroke on the low E string. Upstroke on the low E string again, but your middle finger is holding the second fret. Third finger on the third fret with a downstroke, and pinky on the fourth fret with an upstroke. And then we're just going to move down to the A string and just continue through that same exercise. So just take this at your own speed, just getting used to the exercise itself, okay? Now what we're going to do is we're going to shift all four fingers up one fret. So from here, we're going to go to here, okay? And then so we're going to start with the pinky and we're going to work backwards. So down, up, down, up. And obviously now we're playing the fifth fret, the fourth, the second, and the third and the second. And then we're going to move here onto the B string, and the G, and the D, the A, and back to the low E. Now don't worry about how fast you're doing it. So if you're doing it like this, or even slower, that's absolutely fine. It's still building up this whole thing where you're going to have both hands actually talking to each other, okay? Or if you can get it really fast, then that's even better, okay? But just take it at a speed that you find comfortable, because it's important that you are finding it comfortable. If you're stressing out and you're making mistakes here and there, then just slow it down, okay? It's important that you're practicing, because what we're doing is we're wanting to make sure that things are even, okay? And if, for instance, if your fretting hand can do it, but your picking hand can't keep up, and you keep practicing at a speed like that, then we're still going to have the same problem of the seesaw. So one way to make sure that you are practicing it at a good speed is to practice with a metronome. So I've got an old school metronome here, okay? Now this is just going to be giving me some ticking noises. And what I'd recommend if you don't have a metronome is just type into Google metronome, M-E-T-R-O-N-O-M-E. Feels like I'm at a spelling bee. And you'll have it pop up and you can put however much BPM, which is beats per minute, you want. Now I have this at 80 BPM. So I'm going to be playing 4 notes per click. So first of all, I put my first finger here on the first fret and just play 1 note per click to get used to it. And then double that. And then once I've got that, I'm going to double it again. Now I can start the exercise. Now I'm going to continue that all the way up to right up here where it feels like I can barely fit all four strings, all four fingers in the frets. Okay. And what you want to do is if you make a mistake, so for instance, if I'm going here and I go like that, I have to start from the low E string again. Okay. But just remember, it's very important to be practicing at a speed that you find very, very comfortable. Now, just doing this simple exercise is going to make you leap over the roadblock that you're currently experiencing with your guitar playing and completely eliminate your current guitar progress killer, just simply by getting these two hands to actually talk to each other. So practice this. What I'd recommend is for a few minutes every day. So if, for instance, if you were to invest 5 minutes of time every day into doing specifically this exercise, you'll be absolutely blown away with the results. And especially, for instance, if you just do this for 5 minutes, the first thing you do when you pick up your guitar, do this for 5 minutes, then you're going to have these hands talking to each other so much better than they normally would be. And as soon as you've done that, you go to play some other things that you normally have trouble with, and you'll notice that things are just starting to work, especially if you do this every day, every time you go to pick up the guitar. Now, a great way to improve, and you can build your skills in a huge, huge way by doing this, use the metronome. So for instance, right here, I've got this on 80 beats per minute. Now, if I practice this today at 80 beats per minute, and I find this very, very comfortable, it doesn't have to be 80. If you can start this with like 40 beats per minute if that's the speed that you find comfortable. Okay, if you're making too many mistakes, you need to slow it down. So let's go. So let's say we're doing it at 80. Okay, find it comfortable at 80. Then practice today at 80. Tomorrow, increase it by a few. So practice it at like 82 or 83. And when you do that, it's such a minuscule difference. So for instance, like this here is 80 beats per minute. Now, if I go like this, that's at 84 beats per minute, okay? I still find that really, really, really easy, okay? So if I practice it tomorrow at 84 and then the next day, such a tiny, tiny little difference, that's going to be at like 88 beats per minute, okay? And then so you can imagine if you just do that, for instance, every single day, increase it by 4 BPM every single day, okay? Imagine how fast you're going to be playing in a month from now, comfortably too, all right? And it's going to really get these hands talking to each other and just make you leap over that roadblock you're experiencing again with your guitar playing. So, chromatic scale, you've got the PDF sheet below, practice it to a metronome, and you'll blow past this issue you're having with the guitar playing. These hands will start talking to each other, and you'll have a lot more fun with your guitar.